From the outside, it looks like they're saving the world. But on the inside, that's where some Marvel superheroes are fighting their toughest battle, the one happening in their own minds. Today, alongside Yelena Belova and her new friend Bob, we're diving deep into the hidden message behind Thunderbolts. Beneath the superhero action, the movie offers a valuable lesson about depression, mania, and mental health. We'll explore how Marvel created one of the most compelling visual metaphors for depression in recent cinema. Using key scenes from the film, we'll break down how these characters confront their inner demons and what crucial shift in thinking finally helps them begin to heal. Hi, it's Captain Spoiler here, overthinking pop culture, and we're about to dive deep into spoiler territory, so consider yourself warned. Thunderbolts is packed with action, centering on a group of broken anti-heroes forced to team up, fight for good, and stand up to a power-hungry politician conducting dangerous human experiments. But for most of them, that fight comes at a time when their lives are falling apart. Yelena is grieving the loss of her sister while still wrestling with her dark past as a child assassin. She's stuck in a routine that offers no meaning, just work and the constant weight of regret. Her adoptive father, Alexei, is clinging to memories of his glory days as a Soviet super soldier. He can't accept that those days are behind him, and now he's just another guy doing low-prestige jobs, ignored and forgotten. Then there's John Walker, once the second Captain America, now dealing with the fallout of both professional disgrace and a failed marriage. And finally, there's Bob, unassuming, quiet, awkward, out of place. He's haunted by a painful childhood and the addictions he turned to in order to numb the hurt. Each of them is being dragged down by struggles they can't shake, and depression looms over them all. But it's Bob, the quiet character, and his surprising transformations throughout the movie that become the most powerful and meaningful metaphor for depression we've seen on screen in a long time.
I have these good days, where I feel invincible. But then there are a lot of bad days when I remember that nothing matters.
The more we learn about Bob, the clearer it becomes. He's living with bipolar disorder. His life swings between manic highs, buzzing with chaotic energy, and crushing lows of depression, which saps his will to live and drives him towards self-destructive behaviors. It's obvious he's been suffering for a long time, lost, misunderstood, and without real support. At first, he tried numbing the pain with drugs, only making things worse. Then, he fell into the clutches of a power-hungry politician with a twisted plan to build a controllable superhero. The controversial medical experiments Bob went through actually worked. The problem is, they didn't just give him superpowers, they amplified everything that's going on inside his mind. His inner struggles took on a tangible physical form, manifesting as two superhero, or perhaps supervillainous, alter egos, Sentry and Void.
It is my great honor to introduce to you the Sentry.
Hey, guys.
Sentry is born from Bob's manic episodes. He's absurdly powerful, stronger than all the Avengers combined, a kind of Marvel Universe equivalent of Superman. His powers seem limitless, just like his self-belief and newfound abilities. When Bob fully becomes Sentry, he believes he's unstoppable, better than everyone else, even divine. No one can threaten him, no one can control him or stop him. This mirrors the classic symptoms of mania, a soaring, distorted sense of self, boundless energy, and grandiose thoughts. People in manic states often feel almost superhuman, overflowing with wildly ambitious ideas and unstoppable drive. They feel energized, have no need for rest, and are eager to act, often faster than they can consider whether their actions make any sense. Mania gives them a sense of agency and inspiration. Sometimes that energy leads to bursts of creativity or productivity, but it can also easily spiral out of control. The feeling of omnipotence can be pleasant, but it also makes you less critical of your thoughts and actions. Confidence turns to arrogance, as with Sentry, who suddenly sees himself as a god and self-proclaims the right to decide over others' lives and deaths. Increased brain activity weakens impulse and emotional control, leading to illogical, risky, or even harmful behaviors. And this can have destructive consequences for one's life and relationships. Much like Bob, who, high on power and sudden attention, hurts even those who care about him, like Yelena, who genuinely tried to help and protect him.
And that darkness gets pretty enticing. And then it starts to feel a little bit like,
A void.
But manic episodes don't last forever. All that overstimulation quickly drains you, sooner or later leading to the complete opposite of mania, numbness and hopelessness. Often, the first signs of this shift appear during the manic phase, much like with Sentry, who, although all-powerful and godlike, suddenly became insecure about his new hair color. The facade of confidence starts to crack, and doubt slowly pierces through the sense of omnipotence, until finally there's a shift towards depression. It doesn't always look as dramatic as in the movie, where literally one button push did the trick. But with bipolar disorder, mania always gives way to depression eventually. In Bob's case, depression, magnified by his superpowers, takes the form of Void, a sinister figure made of pure darkness that grows and swallows everything in its path. This impenetrable void absorbs all light. It's like a black hole that crushes you with its weight, making escape impossible. It spreads into more and more parts of your life, infecting everything with darkness. Yelena, Bob, and many people with depression use the word void to describe their experiences, likely referring to hopeless abyss that consumes them, draining their energy and joy. But this void isn't truly empty. It's filled with pain. It holds a vast amount of negative and painful feelings, thoughts, and memories. Overwhelming guilt, pervasive shame, crippling loneliness, fear, disappointment, regret. The belief that you're a burden, that everyone would be better off without you, that you're broken beyond repair. Void is more than a villain. It's depression given physical form. It isolates. It lies. It drains joy from everything and traps you inside your own mind.
so you're just gonna sit here and let it take over?
Well, there's no use in fighting it. At least I found a nice room. The other rooms are much worse.
Just like the void, people with depression may look passive or numb on the outside, but inside it can feel like being trapped in an entire universe of suffering. In the movie, we see how void traps people, Bob, Yelena, and others, in an endless maze of painful memories and toxic self-beliefs. They're stuck reliving their worst moments, hearing the same cruel inner voice over and over. You'll never be enough. You'll always be alone. And the worst part? They can't see a way out. The darkness convinces them there is no way out. That's what depression does to people. Even before entering the void, Yelena can't even remember what joy feels like. All she knows these days is the crushing weight of self-doubt and shame. Throughout the film, we see that each character tries to deal with this in their own way. Alexei gives in to nostalgia, watching old footage of himself to remember better times. Yelena tries to outrun her pain. She explicitly states her strategy, to push the void away whenever it gets too close. Even though she's suffering, she tries to pretend it doesn't affect her. She throws herself into missions, hoping distraction will bring relief. Bob, however, turns his pain inward. All his life he's been self-destructive, abusing various substances. Now, trapped in the void, he tries to physically fight it, to punch it into submission. But the void is him. When he hits it, he's hurting himself. It's a heartbreaking image, and one that reflects real life. So many people with depression blame themselves. They think their pain is their fault. They punish themselves for not being stronger, for being unable to just snap out of it. They can't accept their weakness and refuse to show their vulnerability. Angry and disappointed with themselves, they lash out, not at others, but at themselves, mentally, emotionally, even physically. But that's exactly what the void wants, because the void is self-hatred. It feeds off it. Trying to fight it like that and treat it like an enemy only deepens Bob's depression and pushes him further into the mental prison the void created for him.
We can find a way out of here together. Will you try and leave here with me?
For a very long time, each character suffers alone. Depression isolates them, whispering the same lie. No one cares. You're on your own. Yelena and Alexei, despite their bond, haven't spoken in a year. They've drifted apart, allowing each other to sink into darkness alone. Bob has wandered through foreign countries, looking for salvation in drugs, until he finally decided to trust a magical procedure that would fix him. None of them asked for help. Not from friends, not from family, not even from a therapist. And yet, it's the support of others that's crucial in treating depression. When Bob's void grows so large it threatens the world, the truth finally breaks through. Healing doesn't happen alone. What starts to shift things isn't a new power or strategy. It's human connection, empathy, support, presence. When someone sits beside you in your darkness, without judgment, that's when real change begins. That's what pushes back against the void's lies. That's what gives people the strength to seek therapy, to take medication, to believe that maybe, just maybe, they matter. That maybe the void isn't endless, and with some help, they can break free. That's the most valuable lesson Thunderbolts has to offer. To save the world, these characters first have to save each other. They have to open up, be vulnerable, be real. Not just to build a cool superhero team, but to finally begin healing. Let's be real, opening up to others can be terrifying, especially for lone wolves who have tried to handle everything by themselves their whole lives. And for people who've lived in pain or pushed others away or been made to feel like they're too much. It can be hard. But hard doesn't mean impossible. Yelena, Bob, and the others show us that. Reaching out, letting others in, it's the first step out of the void. And it's worth making an effort. Sometimes the support you need comes from the last place you'd expect, but with that help, you'll be able to get your life back on track. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any more deep dives like this one.